Good morning, beginner coaches. Welcome to our 10-day video series training, teaching you, steps on how to actually earn your first 10K a month. Now, welcome to day 6. If you are just joining us today for the first time, welcome. If you have been following us for the past 5 days, welcome back. Now, today what we're going to be focusing on is how to attract paying clients through networking. Now, just to give you guys some context as to, some of the content that we've been covering over the past 5 days already, that if you've missed it, all good, make sure you jump back through the feed and go through all 5 videos, because all of that actually builds up to what we're talking about today. And all of it is super relevant to building up the foundations of actually if you want sustainable, consistent income in your business as a coach. Now, as we do this, let me just jump onto my Facebook so that I know who is joining me live this morning. And if you're joining me live, guys, pop in and say hello so that I know that you're there. The purpose of these videos is for it to be super informal, super interactive. If you've got questions along the way, oh my goodness, pop in and ask a question. These videos are for you guys, nobody else. It's intended for you guys to get value from it and then to be able to go away and implement the strategies so then you can actually start to see results in your business. So, I've got one person joining me. First and foremost, good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you had a brilliant weekend. Now, just to go back a couple of steps to cover things that we've already talked about over the past 5 days. We've talked about how to nail your niche, define your niche, know what problem you solve and who you solve it for. Then day 2, we actually talked about pricing your packages and your services. Then we went into how do you actually attract clients to begin with? Because it's one thing to be like, okay, I know what my niche is, but how do I actually get paying clients? And then day 4, we talked about how do you actually stand out in the marketplace? Because yes, it's great to attract clients, but if no one knows about you, if you're not noticeable, if you're not memorable, if you're not referable, people don't even know why they need to come to you. So we talked about how to actually build your brand as an expert. And then yesterday, of course, we talked about how to actually attract high quality paying clients. Because it's one thing to attract a client, but it's another thing to attract a client who's actually a perfect fit for you because they live up to your standards, they live up to your expectations, and it's a win-win, not just for you, and also for them. It needs to be a collaboration. It needs to be a partnership. That's where the best results come from. Cool bananas. And there will be an opportunity, if you haven't already, throughout this training series, we've offered you guys the opportunity to opt in to a phenomenal resource that we've recently created called the 4-step checklist to turning a stranger into a raving fan. Because it's one thing to actually attract the client, but it's another thing to actually nurture that relationship so well that when you have the sales conversation, your prospect actually initiates that conversation with you, and they're like, hey, you're the best person to solve my problem. How can we work together? That is a phenomenal business setup because it means that you've spent enough time in nurturing and cultivating the relationship that the sales conversation is so well taken care of. Whereas a lot of people actually miss this nurture phase and they jump straight from having their clients' detail, their prospects' details, calling them, and if it was a dating situation, it's like asking them, hey, do you want to sleep together? Or hey, do you want to get married on date number 1? It's scary. It's not how human beings work. So through this 4-step checklist, we actually step you through what we do to really build up that relationship. So if you haven't opted into that already, all you need to do is type yes, please, and either Jay or myself will reach out to you and send you the link to that resource. So make sure you jump onto that. All right, let's jump into it. So today we're talking about networking, how to actually attract paying clients through the power of networking. Let's jump straight into it. Now, as always, I trust that you will know this by now, or if you're brand new to our videos and how we teach and how we learn, we always start with the thinking, because who we are being will dictate our response to a certain situation, which will give us a certain outcome. Now, too many people jump straight into the doing, and they don't stop and think, well, who do I actually need to be? What values do I need to embody? What beliefs must I carry in order for me to create the right action steps to get me the right outcomes. So of course, we're going to jump straight into the mindset of who to be first, before jumping straight into the strategies and the tactics, which of course we will share with you. All right, so for those of you who are joining me later on and rewatching this video, oh my goodness, engage, give me your feedback and comment as we go along so that I can understand what you guys are taking away from this learning video. Because again, these videos are for you guys, not for me. So please let me know as we go along what you're taking away from it and any questions that you're also having. All right, so let's get straight into it. So in terms of networking, I know it may seem like a bit of a beast because I remember when I first started coaching, the feedback that I commonly got from the community was, well, Cal, even when I just started, I was just like, okay, I need to just go network. I need to just like tell everyone what I do. And when I went along to a networking event, I just didn't really know how to navigate the room. I didn't know who to speak to. I didn't know how to stand out. I didn't know how to capitalize on that experience or on that opportunity, whether it be capitalize on the opportunity to find paying clients, build relationships. Like, how do I actually do that? Like, is it that, when people say you've got a KPI of 2 networking events a week, does that mean, well, I just show up and I talk a lot? Or do I try and get as many business cards as humanly possible? Like, how do I strategically navigate my way through it so that it's intentional and it serves not only other people, but also my business, me, and my future clients? How do we actually do that? Hello, whoever's joined me, come in and say hello so that I know that you're there. So pop in, because I can't actually see. So pop in the comments below, give me a wave. I'd really appreciate that. So the intention, always, you'll hear me harping on about this over and over again, guys, is you got to start with the end in mind. No matter what you do in your business, whether it's over the next quarter, what is it that you actually want to achieve over the next 90 days? Or what is it that you must achieve over the next 30 days, or even this week, or even like today? So many coaches I have found, and this doesn't even limit it to coaches, just business people in general, is that we get up and we just go, and we don't actually sit down and think about, well, whatever action I'm about to take, how is that strategically creating income for me? How is it strategically moving my business forward? So whenever you go into a networking event, the same thing applies. You must start with the end in mind and know, what is my outcome through being here? Because if you're going to be there for 2, 3, 4 hours, let's make sure that whatever actions you're taking are actually creating opportunities for you. Sukhdev, hey, good morning. Thank you for joining me. So guys, starting with the end in mind. Now, when I'm thinking about anything that I do in my business, I'm thinking, this is a concept that I actually learned from Michael Griffiths, founder of the Partnership Club. And he talks about having a bucket. Now, your bucket is essentially your bucket of opportunity. And your opportunities come down to really 3 things. It's either you're looking to create collaborations, so collab, or you're looking for active networkers. People who have great networks, people who do the do, who may not necessarily be a partnership or a person who you could collaborate with. They may not be an ideal client, but they will open opportunities and doors for you because they're out there actively networking like you are. They're people that you know that one day you could reach out to, and maybe they know someone within their network that could open up the doors for you. And so the third one is obviously ideal clients. So whenever I'm thinking about who should I engage, who should I talk to, who should I spend more time with, who should I nurture relationships with in my business, I'm always coming back to, do they fit one of these criteria? Are they someone I could potentially collaborate with? Do they have a fantastic network, or are they willing to, actively get involved in their community and build ongoing relationships in their business? Or are they possibly an ideal client? Everyone else, spend your downtime with them. They could be friends, they could be family, but if they don't fit within these 3, essentially 90% of the people that you spend a lot of your time nurturing and building relationships with should fall within these 3 categories. Everyone else will fall inside the time that is outside of business hours. Because again, it comes back to intentionality. Now, yes, you're looking for these 3 things. Now, it's also super important, guys, Good morning to those of you who are joining me now. It's important that whoever you choose to allow inside your network, that they share the same values as you. Now, for so long, oh my goodness, I reckon for the first 18 months, when I went out there to network, I was just like, anyone will do. I'll talk to anyone. And as long as I'm adding to my list, the better. But what I actually noticed over time was that the quality of my community or the quality of my clients didn't necessarily improve because I actually missed this step. I wasn't clear on what are my values, what are my standards that I focus on and that I hold my business to, because then I was just allowing anyone through the floodgates. I was allowing anyone through. But now I've got very, very clear standards around, what are the values in my business? And for me, so this is for me, guys. Again, I always encourage you guys, whatever I teach you, try it on for yourself. See whether or not it's a good fit. If it is, rock forth. If it isn't, oh my gosh, awesome. Rock out and find alternative strategies. So this is not the be all and end all. And so I'm always encouraging you guys, try it on, okay? Is that cool? I trust that that's cool with you guys. So for me, my values around my business are collaboration. Whoops. So the people that, because at the end of the day, in 2019, our bigger intention is to build a co-working space for coaches here in Melbourne. Now, as part of that, it's about collaborating with other experts and leveraging their areas of expertise. So the people that I really am looking to work with when it comes to partnerships or involving in the community are people who value partnership, who value collaboration, who value support, family, encouragement, all of those things. And it's all about networking, not people who just want to be like, I just want to be the best and on my own. No, it's actually people who are open to this concept of leverage. So collaboration is the first one. The second one is that they are business savvy. Business savvy. So I've worked with people before where they're just like, I'm really passionate. I'm like, okay, that's great, but how are you positioning yourself in your business? Or how are you strategically looking out for business opportunities? Because if I'm partnering up with someone, I want to know that they've got my back because I've got their back as well, and that they're constantly looking out for business opportunities, not just for them, but also for me as well. So this actually requires an element of business, a business acumen and commercial acumen. And the third one is obviously family orientated. So people who are open-minded know that at the end of the day, we're here to build a family and build a community. So they're the types of people that I want to introduce into my community. It may be different for you guys. All right. So for you guys who are just joining me now, share with me, what are the top 3 values that you value in your business that is going to form a criteria before you choose to engage in anyone and add them to your leads bucket? Let me know what your top 3 values are. I'd love to know. Cool. So now that we've got the end in mind, we know what values you have in your business and the standards that you hold. We know the types of people that you're intentionally looking for. Because we've got the end in mind now, guys, we can actually go back to the beginning and start on the strategy and the tactical stuff of, okay, now how do we actually engage and develop these relationships? So imagine here, you go to a networking event, guys, and you've got all these people there. Like you walk in, you've got a room full of people. Who do you actually start speaking with first? Because at the end of the day, you're like, okay, Cal, I want to introduce these people into my bucket so that they're either a partnership opportunity, they've got a great network, or they're an ideal client. How do I actually strategically find these people in a room full of people where everyone's just moving and I don't know anyone yet? Oh my gosh, great question. If that's what you're wondering, we're totally going to check that out now. Cool bananas. So you are this person here. Da-da-da-da. This is you. And you're like, who do I speak to? Well, let me strategically give you some top tips on what I do when I go along to a networking event. So if you're thinking a bit about key persons of influence, people who can either form partnerships with, open up opportunities because they've got an active network, or potentially be a paying client. Well, first place I would start with, so I call these KPIs, key persons of influence. You always want to start with the events organizer. Because think about it, if you were the one organizing the event, more likely than not, you're a doer. And more likely than not, you're going to want to build a community or be actively building your network out there. So likelihood is you probably go to other events, you probably know other people in your network, you're quite business savvy. So the events organizer is always a phenomenal person to start with. Now, the other one is crew members. Because something that I've learned having been to so many events is that often event members will either be an event organizer themselves and they'll support their network by saying, hey, you've got an event on here. I'm more than happy to crew for you, because as an event organizer, we understand how much work actually goes into organizing an event. There's registration, there's people playing music, looking after, the members who come along. There's so many moving parts in organizing an event that you want, as a crew member, you want to make the presenter feel like they're all taken care of, that you've got their back at the back of the room. So for me, I know that I've invited clients along or colleagues along to become my crew member, and likelihood is if you're a crew member, you're an active member of the community. So crew members will often go to other networking events as well. So if you wanted to know what other events you could go along to, or people who know people, then the crew is always a great place to start. Then the next one is the guest speaker. Because think about it, the guest speaker wants gigs. They, more likely than not, they're actively, as one of their KPIs every single week, looking for guest speaking opportunities, connecting with other events organizers, connecting with other crew members, and building their network so that they get invited along to speak at. So guest speakers will no doubt have a phenomenal network of people that they can connect with. Even more than that, the guest speaker is usually a clear expert in a particular field. So if they support, if they solve a problem that is complementary to your clients, and let me use an example. So for example, for me, we coach coaches who are in their first 2 years of their business around marketing and sales acumen, right? So our target market are coaches. Now, who else shares the same network as coaches? It could be, a photographer who takes photos to build the branding for a coach, or it could be maybe a videographer. Maybe it's a copywriter who actually helps coaches to write and create blog articles so that they can spread it through social media and repurpose their content. So all these different players are potential guest speakers who I could actually potentially collaborate with. Because at the end of the day, I'm always thinking that whoever I choose to speak with, engage with, could I potentially collaborate with them? Do they have an active network? Or are they potentially an ideal client that I could nurture and get to know better? I'm always thinking about that. And a guest speaker is a great place to start. And then obviously, fourth is everyone else. Now, everyone else, you always got to have the end in mind. So as I'm surveying the audience, guys, in a room, I'm looking for people who energetically feel like they're a good values match to me. And you may be like, well, Cal, I don't know if someone's business savvy, or I don't know if someone values collaboration. I really want to encourage you guys to be congruent and be certain in your values, because and trust your gut, because when you walk into a room, let me ask you this, more likely than not, if you walked into a room, you could tell instantly, energetically, you're just naturally drawn to certain people. Why? Because the law of attraction dictates that we're all energy, and values are energy. So if someone shares similar values to you, more likely than not, you will just naturally gravitate towards them, whether it's their demeanor, whether it's, the tone that they speak in. Like, I know that for me, because I value community, I'm quite open when I go along to a networking event. I can instantly pick in the room who else values community or connection, or is open-minded like that, because they generally attract those people to their conversations. So I'll just take a moment looking at the room being like, who looks like someone I would enjoy speaking to? And I will start there. So it really requires you to know what your values are, as opposed to just going up to everyone and anyone in the room. Because at the end of the day, if you're not a values match, it probably won't be a great partnership. You probably won't want to tap into their network as much, and they're probably not going to be an ideal client for you either. All right. Awesome. Cindy, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. So guys, so far, based on this conversation that we're having around attracting clients at a networking event, what are you guys learning? Because more importantly than me just teaching and talking at you, it's what I'm concerned about is what are you actually going to take away and implement in your business straight away. So Cindy, share with me, and whoever's joining me as well, because I can see I've got 2 people on, share with me, what are you learning from this that you can implement straight away in your business? Share with me, and I'm just going to keep going as your comments come up. So you've got the end in mind. You start with these people, and then once you've built those relationships and those conversations, so I usually aim for 2 conversations per networking event. I used to aim for everyone, and it was a crazy expectation. I never met it, and I always walked away disappointed. And I understand now that business is a long-term game. It's going to take time for me to build those relationships. And if I can have 2 really decent conversations, I'm stoked. So what I will do is I'll connect deeply with 2 people, and then everyone else who I connect with along the way, I'll add them on Facebook, because I know, and if you've been watching our videos, guys, you'll understand how I go about building my brand authority and how I stand out as an expert in my field, because I've been very consistent and I've been doing that online and offline. So make sure you watch those videos again. But I know that if I connect with them on Facebook, they're going to see all the videos, all the content that I've already been curating and generating and promoting online. So instantly, as they start going through my feed, they'll start to recognize me as an expert in the particular problem that we solve, which is helping coaches over a simple step-by-step process get to their first 10K month. So what I will then do is, with everyone that I've connected with, either on a deep level or either just online, I will then, so I've connected, then the next one is coffee chat. I will book in a coffee chat with them where I can get to know them more. It's not to sell to them. It is never the intention from the, obviously in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking, is there a potential here? And my greatest intention is starting a relationship. How can I help you? What do you need right now? How can I open up doors and opportunities for you? Or if you're an ideal client, how can I actually serve you or help you solve your problem? I'm always focused on the other person, because the law of reciprocity states that if you want something that you want to share, you got to give first and foremost. Cindy, definitely this next year, I'm putting more focus on network events and making real deep connections. Great, good for you. And connecting with the key people was really valuable. You're so welcome. And even more than that, Cindy, make sure if you haven't downloaded or gotten a copy of our 4-step checklist on how to turn strangers into raving fans, just type yes please, and Jay or myself will reach out to you with the link so that you can get access to that training video and the step-by-step checklist, because I think that will really serve you. Awesome. I'm really excited to hear about your plans for next year, girl. So we've connected, we've booked in a coffee catch up, and then the next one is cultivate. Now, so much of my time is spent cultivating, because so many coaches and business people don't spend the time to do that. They kind of get the connection, have the coffee chat, and then they're like, buy my thing. Or like, are we a good fit? But I'm like, well, they don't even know you that well yet. So you need to spend the time really nurturing and cultivating the relationship, which is why we've created the 4-step checklist, because it's really about turning a stranger who doesn't really know you that well, building up the trust and the expertise from their perspective, in terms of how they see you, so much so that you educate them so well on the problem that you solve. And if they have that problem, then they know that you're the best person for them to come to. So in that resource, we actually teach you how to do that. And ultimately, I'm looking to fill up this bucket more and more, either with more partnerships and collaborations, people who have active networkers, or ideal clients who share the same values as I do. All right, team. Oh, beautiful. So Cindy will get that straight to you right after this video. So there you go, guys. This is honestly the strategy, one of the many strategies that we apply when it comes to networking and attracting high quality, ideal paying clients through networking. Now tomorrow we are going to be talking about 3 steps to sustained motivation in your business. Because what I've noticed is that one of the biggest challenges that coaches face in the beginning, and actually not even but it's particularly severe in the beginning, and obviously it's an ongoing thing, but it's how do I keep up the momentum? How do I stay focused? How do I stay energized and motivated with my business? Because sometimes it's so lonely. Sometimes I just don't give a fudge. I get it. I so get it. I've experienced it and I go through peaks and troughs of it myself as well. And so tomorrow what we'll be sharing with you are our top 3 strategies that we apply in our business to help us maintain sustained energy and momentum throughout our business. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Now tomorrow, guys, we will be recording this video at 6:15 in the evening. So not in the morning, 6:15 Tuesday. And yeah, we'll take it off there. So make sure you join us for day 7, where we go through the 3 steps of sustained motivation. And if you've got any questions, of course, you are more than welcome. Post in the comments below so that we can get back to you. All right, team? I really look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Speak to you soon. Bye, guys. Thank you so much, Cindy. I'll speak to you soon. Bye, team.